check, 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 check. There we go. Welcome to the Homecoming 2018 Greenville University Concert Band Concert. We have some exciting music to share with you this evening, and this afternoon, and we're glad you're here to share with us. The Music Makers, the opening piece, was commissioned by the Spencer Point Wind Ensemble and premiered in 1967. The score is prefaced by a quotation from this famous ode. "We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams. Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. One man with a dream at pleasure shall go forth and conquer a crown, and three with a new song's measure can trample an empire down." According to the composer Alfred Reed, this work is a joyous affirmation of the power of music to move the spirit of both men and women to both dream and to achieve the highest that life has to offer. The Greenbriers of Wexley was written in 1966 by Sammy Nestico. That name may be familiar to those folks who enjoy jazz, as he was the major arranger for the Count Basie Orchestra for many, many years. He was also a staff composer for the U.S. Air Force Band and the United States Marine Band. As a result, in this march, you may hear a little bit more than a tiny bit of jazz influence. We share with you now the Greenbriers of Wexley. Now we are excited to present the next two songs, as the first one is from one of our senior composition students here at Greenville University, and the second is a work by a well-established, well-known composer. Ashley Hurley, a senior from Vandalia, arranged this piece in partial fulfillment of her Bachelor of Arts degree in music. Will you please now welcome Ashley to the microphone to tell you about her piece.
Le Bûcher is written by Franz Poulenc and is translated as the hinds or the does, for those of you who don't speak French. It is a French ballet inspired by the new sounds of jazz that were coming to France in the 1920s. Ragmazurka is the sixth movement in this ballet. In this particular scene, the three men are fighting over the affection of one woman. Throughout the entire movement, there are hands-off of melody from brass to woodwind, woodwind to brass, and so on. And this represents each man trying to win over that one woman's affection. In the end, the male who tried first ends up winning her over. Just as a short synopsis of how this piece got started, because I'm ready to play it. This piece started off as a suggestion from Mr. Fairbanks, and just like any good student would, he wanted it, so I read it. And thank you. It's Ragmazurka.
As you can tell, that was quite a complicated piece, and she worked very hard, quite a long time on it, and so did we. Ed Huckabee is an arts consultant and freelance composer, arranger, conductor, and clinician. His career has included roles in higher education and arts administration, most recently serving as president of Southwestern Christian University in Bethany, Oklahoma, until his retirement in 2014. Prior to his appointment at SCU, he was an associate vice president for academic affairs and professor of music at Northeastern State University in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Dr. Huckabee also served as an arts administrator for Tulsa Ballet Theater and holds the title of Emeritus Professor of Music at Northwestern Oklahoma State University, where he served for over 2 decades as music department chair and dean of the graduate school. He spent 8 years teaching instrumental music in the public schools of Oklahoma, where his marching, concert, and jazz bands won state and regional acclaim. His success in the public schools led him into the college teaching ranks, where he became internationally recognized as an outstanding music educator and composer of almost 200 published works for concert and marching band. Actually, maybe over 200 now, isn't it? I think, yeah, well over 200. Dr. Huckabee's ability to write interesting and accessible instrumental music can be attributed to his experience at a variety of musical levels. He has created over 50-something commissioned works and has served as clinician, adjudicator, and conductor for instrumental ensembles around the world. Will you please join with me in welcoming Dr. Ed Huckabee to the microphone?
thank you for the honor of and privilege that I have to be here. I appreciate the invitation that I had to create a piece of music for Greenville University. When we first had the discussion, Professor Fairbanks and I, we talked about some of the history of the institution, and I wanted to give you a little bit of what to listen for. One of the things that was highlighted was the history related to Hogue Hall and the new Hogue Tower. So this piece actually has a theme inserted throughout that represents that. I'd like for you to hear the theme. It actually opens the piece in the trumpets and the trombones. So let's hear the Hogue theme. Four notes. Actually, technically, it's two notes, but they're in different octaves and different placement. But that's the theme you're going to listen for, okay? That's the Hogue theme. And you're going to hear it in several different iterations, and you're going to hear a lot on top of it and below it, and you're going to hear other things. One of the things we discussed with the band earlier is the fact that in addition to honoring Hogue Hall and Hogue Tower, in our discussion, Will says, well, we also have some hymns, and if you can work them in, we'd love to have some hymns inserted in this piece. And he gave me 4 hymn tunes, if you can work in 1 or 2 or all or whatever. And so if you'll listen, you'll hear the hymn tunes. I'm sure most, if not all, will be very familiar to you. 3 are very prominent, and 1 shows up for only 2 measures. So I want you to listen for that, okay? It's a little bit of a transition, but it shows up for only 2 measures, but I think you'll recognize it. The other thing that happens is that there's also a very recognizable theme in the march section. There are 4 sections. There's an introduction, the introit. There's one called the hymnal, which you'll hear several of the hymns in. There's a march, and then there's a grand finale. And I want you to hear a couple of the Hogue themes in some of the other sections. So, woodwinds? All right. You hear the first 4 notes? Ba-da-ba-da. That's the Hogue theme. Then, when we get into the final section, where there's a grand finale, the horns start us out with another version of the Hogue theme. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Did you hear it? That's what we call an augmentation. It's broadened. So those are 3 of the ones to listen for of the Hogue theme. You'll hear it throughout the piece. And we'd also like to show you some of the other things that are going to happen during all this time when you're hearing you won't hear the Hogue theme in every measure, obviously, but during that, there are also some other colorful things happening. Woodwinds? So, you'll hear a lot of colorful things happening, and you'll hear some hymns. You'll also hear a very familiar, particularly related to homecoming, a very familiar theme in the midst of the piece. We hope you enjoy Hogue Tower Celebration. So who caught the not so obvious hymn? What was it? Be thou my vision. Good job.
Whew, I don't want to talk after that for a few minutes. Wasn't that a great piece for this university? So. He talked a lot about that being a labor of love, and you can see and hear all that that he put into that piece and just the whole design. So thank you again. Thank you. Next, my wife, Heather Fairbanks, who is the Director of Development here at Greenville University, will come to the stage to say a few words.
I don't know if I can talk after that. It was so good. Thank you, Dr. Huckabee. And thank you, band, because that was great. So I'm here today to say a few words of special thanks. I want to especially thank our donors who were part of this commission. It takes money to do something like this. It takes money to do all sorts of things here at Greenville. I have a quick question for our students in the band and any of those out in the audience. How many of you have received a scholarship while you're here at Greenville? That's almost all of them, right? Actually, it should be about 99% of them because 99% of our students receive scholarships here at Greenville University, and it's because of donors who care about the students here at Greenville, who want to be part of that work, and by their gifts to the institution, they are part of that. They're part of what happens here at Greenville. So I want to say thank you to those donors. I want to say a special thank you to Bob and Jan Bastian, Steve and PJ Bothwell, Greg and Lucia Delamarter, Ben and Julie Tolley, and the Gateway Conference of the Free Methodist Church for their part in this commission today, because that's part of what happens. Whenever somebody writes a piece like this, you hire a composer of the caliber of Dr. Huckabee, and that's part of what happens. We ask him to do certain things, and then we pay him for his artistic skill, and we thank him for that. But I have an opportunity for you here today as well. Because we got to bring Dr. Huckabee to campus, there are other expenses that come with that. So if you have been moved today, if you want to be part of what's happening here at Greenville University and in the band program, there's going to be an instrument case here on the front stage at the end of the concert. There's going to be an instrument case at the back. If you're so moved and would like to give a donation today to the band, that's what it will go to help support. It will help support the expenses that are part of this commissioning and bringing Dr. Huckabee to campus. If you would like to give a larger gift and want to come see me afterwards, you can do that too. I'll be here. Or you can give online on our website. We are flexible in all ways whenever it comes to that. But again, I want to say a special word of thanks to those key donors for our commission, and especially to Dr. Huckabee. Thank you.
Phantom Regiment was written by Leroy Anderson in 1951. It depicts a nameless body of phantom soldiers marching in the distance as if in parade formation. They approach, they come across the front, and then they march away, vanishing without a trace. According to one reviewer, Anderson paints a shadow portrait of valor, echoing down through eternity. But there is no sadness in it. The composer is paying tribute to all men and women in uniform who have ever fought gallantly for an ideal, the Phantom Regiment. I'd like to say once again, thanks again to Dr. Huckabee for being here today and for all of those who helped make this commission possible, especially Ben Tolley and the Gateway Conference of the Free Methodist Church. Thank you. You really helped us move along with this idea of a special commission piece in honor of GU. I'd like to thank the band for working so hard on this music. I challenged them beyond what they were used to. I want to say thanks to the music department here at Greenville University for helping make this performance possible. For the faculty members on the stage that are playing with us, I am grateful for their support. I thank you for coming, because it wouldn't make any sense for us to learn all this music and not have an audience, especially since some of it is, I think all of it is just incredible music to listen to. Hopefully it inspires you as you go forth from this concert. Festive Overture was composed in 1954 by Shostakovich and was premiered in America by the Utah Symphony Orchestra in November of 1955. The transcription that we play today for concert band by Donald Hunsberger was prepared in 1965 and has become a standard warhorse, and I do mean warhorse, of the wind band literature. Only the bravest or foolhardiest would attempt it. The jury is out on this director until we finish the piece. Then you can decide.